Nigeria's consumer goods sector faced a turbulent year in 2023 with the naira's devaluation posing a significant challenge for some companies. At this point, Vincent Oshoma, head capital market at Interstate Securities Limited, is our guest for this conversation. Thank you so much for joining us, Vincent Oshoma.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me. Good morning.
All right, you're welcome. Today, we are going to be looking in contrast, looking at the fortunes of four consumer goods companies. We're talking about Dangote Sugar, BUA Foods, Vitafoam, and PZ Cussons. And at this point, we just start off with Dangote Sugar, even as we look at the slides, just to be able to get a proper perspective of the figures. Okay, I'm sure we'll be able to pull up the numbers in a bit, but then let me just quickly put it out to you before I do that anyway. Dangote Sugar had a revenue of about 441.45 billion naira for the financial year 2023, with a cost of sales of about 355.15 billion naira, forex loss of 172 billion naira, and profit after tax of minus 73.76 billion naira. Earnings, of course, let's just look at the net assets before we move on now. 79.25 billion naira. So when you look at all these figures and its performance, what are your thoughts looking at the results?
Yeah, the performance, when you look at the result, is not far out. It's not very surprising. Well, if you look at what is currently happening in the current country, the consumer goods industry is quite challenged, and also the loss was as a result of the FX losses, which most companies in the consumer goods sectors are exposed to, especially those that are involved in export and also forex loans. A lot of them, if you see what happened to the dollar between last year, between 2023, we started the year with the official rate at about 400 and something naira and closed the year at 900, almost 1,000 naira. Moving in 2023 has gone further to 1,005. So those are the factors that have affected mostly those in the consumer goods sector, companies that are exposed to forex, and that's why we see play out what we see play out in Dangote Sugar's performance. Because you can see the top line, they grew their top line, but when you now look at the bottom line, as a result of the exchange losses, forex, they had to report a loss in their results.
Okay, so talking about the losses now, it resulted in a 53% depletion of shareholders' funds from 171.2 billion naira to 79.2 billion naira. So do you think this is a good pick for shareholders?
Yeah, it is not a good thing for shareholders, considering the fact that, first of all, as a result of the losses, they are not going to be getting any dividend. So that's one thing shareholders don't like to hear. But the good thing is the fact that the company is not outside the forex losses. The company is not really affected, and they will be able to. Their business is still very strong, and they are a market leader in the sugar sector. So they'll still be able to recover those losses. And another thing is that when you look at the result, it's not the total loss, the total foreign exchange loss, as they say, an unrealized part of that, about less than 30% of the exchange loss has been realized. So that means there's still possibility of carrying back those losses, and it depends on what happens to the forex market before the end of this year. Because when you look at it, the current exchange rate, everybody, most analysts, foreign analysts, will agree that naira is not well priced, though they are reacting to factors and also to speculators. So let's see what happens at the end of the year. We may see them recover those losses, and also as they continue to do their business, they'll be able to cover those losses in their shareholders' fund.
Well, yeah, we see the company making some moves now. It's highlighted positive returns from its new operations and plans for accelerated backward integration to improve efficiency. So how will these strategies counterbalance the significant foreign exchange losses and probably decline in volume which batter the company's results?
Yes, I think the backward integration is key, because if you look at previous years, that's one of the things that have helped the company to grow its performance. And also when you look at some of the competitors, you look at BUA Foods, one of the things that has also helped BUA Foods is this level of exposure to forex. I think as they continue to engage in backward integration, it will reduce the exposure to forex, and that I think is key in helping the company come out of these challenging times, which we all know that it's not their making. they have to do business, and also the forex issues. So I think market integration is key as they are able to source for their raw materials, more of their raw materials locally. It will lead to their less dependence on imported raw materials, which will also reduce their exposure to forex.
So then, is the potential upside from these positive developments enough to mitigate the current financial strain? Or for investors, should they be looking at probably additional details on the specific actions and action plans to enhance profitability, if anyway they could gain from all this?
Yes, I think one of the things is that the market is driven by information. So the more information you release, the more it is for people to really project on the company and analysis to do their work and project on the company. So bringing out more information and also on their plans and how they are executing those plans, I think it will help people to regain confidence in the company, because we saw it after the release of that result. We saw it a depreciation in the price of the stock, and Dangote went as high as something naira, or it's something naira, and even became one of the stocks, 1 trillion naira worth stock, but it's sold stocks, but stock about what 1 trillion naira. But after we saw the reduction in the price as a result of the performance, it has actually gone down below that record mark that it announced previously this year. So I think releasing those information will help investors' confidence in the stock and also help analysts to make projections on the stock.
Okay, quickly, we now look at the other three BUA Foods unaudited financial statements for the year ended December 31, 2023. We saw a revenue of about 728.45 billion naira for the year 2023 compared to 418.35 billion naira in 2022. Cost sales of 477.15 billion naira. A profit after tax of 111.54 billion naira. And earnings per share of 6 naira 20 kobo, with total assets of 334.07 billion naira for the same financial year. So how impressed are you? What has BUA done differently here?
Yeah, the results is quite impressive when you look at the headwinds and the challenging situation they are faced with. But we will also see, when you do an analysis of the report, you see that their investment, because they have increased volumes and investment, especially in their flour business, because you saw a record movement in terms of the performance for the flour business, which have to do with the plants that came on board and also contributed to their product, and it led to the result. So despite the forex challenges that they have, because they also have some element of forex increased finance costs, they were able to overcome those challenges as a result of the increased volume. And also another thing I think which is also working for BUA Foods is the fact that it's an integrated company. You have the sugar segment, you have the flour segment, and you have the rice segment, the pasta segment. So it helps in reducing costs generally. I think that plays one of the things that plays for the company, the positive factors for the company, which I think contributed to the results.
Okay, quick look at Vitafoam now. For the year 2023, we saw the revenue of 52.99 billion naira compared to 46.31 billion naira in 2022, with a profit after tax of 4.37 billion naira and earnings per share of 315 naira. Now, the net asset was about 17.41 billion naira compared to 2022, which was about 15.67 billion naira. So are you quite impressed about Vitafoam's performance looking at these results?
Yes, yes, I would say I am, because for any company in the consumer goods sector that is able to post decent results, even able to maintain their previous performance, it's kudos to them, because it was a tough environment in 2023, starting from the naira crunch, cash crunch in the first quarter, to the devaluation and also the tough economic situation that Nigerians are faced with. So being able to post the positive result, it talks about the ability of the company to weather the storm and the headwinds that they are faced with. So it's something that we should be commended for the performance.
So then what about the cost of sale, which is over 35 billion naira, and with the earning per share of about 315 naira? So what do you make of the proposed dividends of 1 naira 56 kobo?
Yes, when you look at the cost of sales, For those manufacturing sector, that's one of the things that they are faced with. There have been a general increase in the cost of sales. A lot of them have to depend on their own power, and the price of diesel, which has been deregulated, and as a result of the forex challenges and also the devaluation, definitely we have seen a steep increase in the price of diesel. That will definitely go into their production, increase in production, as well as the movement in terms of transportation. They have to also move these goods from place to place. It definitely will factor into their cost of production, and that so it's not surprising when we see such huge increase in their cost of production. And definitely, as we see the increase in expenses, definitely it will affect the dividend. I think being able to also actually pay dividend, I think, is something, though we will say the performance was not as good as maybe expected, but the ability to weather the storm, the challenges, I think, is something that the shareholders we have to also look at, investors will look at, and also look at are they well positioned to in the years ahead in trying to move on, going ahead. I think that's why I said it's
okay.
the environment.
Okay, all right, that is well noted. We could have taken PZ Cussons, but then we are pressed for time at this point. Vincent Oshoma, Head Capital Markets of Interstate Securities Limited, thank you so much for helping us understand this better.
Thanks for having me.